This episode is rated M for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of the PFC Entertainment Network or any of the affiliates that make this show possible.
This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.
I'm Jason Clouse. And over the course of my life, I've done a lot of different things, and I've worn a lot of different hats. But this may be my greatest endeavor yet. On this show, we are going to focus on life. We are going to focus on the basic fundamentals. We are going to focus on the silver lining. Because no matter what happens, no matter what is thrown our way, there is a silver lining. There is a lesson to be learned. Sometimes we just have to look a little bit harder, a little bit deeper for it. That's what this show is all about. Sometimes it's going to be rough, sometimes it's going to be raw, sometimes it may be hard to listen to, but it's something that you need to hear. This just got real.
And now, the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network presents its flagship show, the Clouse to the Heart podcast. Here is your host, Jason Clouse.
And we welcome you to the Clouse to the Heart podcast, the flagship show of the PFC Entertainment Network. I'm Jason Clouse. Certainly appreciate you tuning in here this week. Listen, over the last several weeks, a frequent type of feedback is, man, what has put the burr in your saddle? What has got you so fired up? What has you in this mood that you're in? To which my reply was, well, what kind of mood do you think I'm in? One that's confrontational, one that's a little bit raw, one that is, in some regards, a little aggressive. To which I would say, is this, was this your first time tuning into the show? Yeah, I guess you can say that I've been confrontational, I've been raw, I've been whatever else. Is it always going to be sunshine and rainbows? No. But the common theme is that no matter what we're talking about here, there is that silver lining. There is that balance. There is a way to take less than ideal situations, less than ideal scenarios, less than ideal feelings and emotions, and rechannel that energy. And I realize that it is oftentimes easier said than done. But I have also come to the realization that the things that are deemed quote unquote easy really sets us up for mediocrity in terms of how we view our lives, our individual existence. Some of us are just merely going through the motions because that is the easy thing to do. Because anytime you try to embark on anything new, anything that is going to be an effort to improve your situation, whether it be on a personal side of things or professional, a lot of people shy away from that because, they're worried about what's on the other side of this. There's a contingent of people that they get nervous anytime you start uttering the word change, like they start sweating, like they're very much creatures of habit. They don't want to ruffle feathers, or it's a lot of times it is they are just simply worn down, they are tired, they are exhausted, they are mentally and physically spent. Now, there are those of us who realize that that's happening, that they realize that there is a breakdown coming, and they, in their own way, will try to illustrate that in an effort for some reprieves, in an effort to let people know you all need to calm the fuck down because I am about ready to, well, for the lack of a better tune, lose my shit. When I get to that point, when I start realizing things are not materializing here, I will make it known in some way or another. Either, I mean, I'll be as gentle about it as I possibly can. However, if I'm feeling like my message is not being received, or it's being disrespected, disregarded, whatever the case may be, that's when I have to turn the voltage up. That's when I have to raise the octave in my voice. That's when I have to change my fundamental approach of how I'm relaying my feelings or what's fixing to come. And this is when oftentimes people get accused of being combative, or they're being unreasonable, or anything along these lines. Now, when I start feeling funky about something, I've illustrated this is how I'm feeling. This is when I tend to lean into my inner circle. Because, as we have said many, many times on this program, your inner circle needs to be those individuals, or individual in some cases, that you can trust, that you feel comfortable with, that you know is going to have your back without question. They are those people in your life who does not generate feelings of anxiety or wonder or worry or things like this, because there's a lot of people in this world who are opportunists. There are people in this world who will see somebody going through something, and they will try to manipulate the situation. They will try to get that individual to bring their guard down in an effort to infiltrate with their own self-serving ideas, plans, intentions. And that is a mind fuck unto itself. Now, what happens when you go to lean into the people that at one time you felt were your inner circle, was your support team, was whatever label you want to put on this? What if that's family? Family. Family. Now, family is a funny thing. There are those people who we are blood related to, or related to by marriage, or things of this nature. They are a part of that traditional family dynamic. There are other people who, when you ask them to describe their family, um, it shouldn't be a shock at all if the people who are identified as family don't share the same blood, don't share the same last name, don't share anything that would bound them by the traditional strings of family. These are people that we are comfortable with. These are our go-to. These are the ones who mean the world to us. Um, I can look at my situation, and yeah, I have members of my family that I am. We share the same blood, we share the same lineage, we share the same, last name in some cases. I like. I'm very fortunate in the fact that there are people in that designation of family that I can count on, I can rely on. I know are going to be there to at least listen, primarily without judgment, without any kind of ulterior motives. These are people that I know that I can go to and talk about whatever I need to talk about, whatever is on my mind. I know they're just going to STFU and just listen. And then when I'm done, then if they have feedback, they'll give me their feedback in a very respectful way. Whether I want to hear it or not is irrelevant. The way it's presented is makes all the difference in the world as to whether or not this is something I'm going to even entertain to enter my thought process. Because if anybody could see what happens in this head of mine, it would probably blow your damn mind. Just all the different shit that rolls around my head at any given moment on any given day. This thing don't stop. Probably why I don't sleep as well as I need to, and I haven't for years, if I can be honest. Um, and then I start thinking about other people that I know, people that I care about on some level or another, and what their quote unquote family dynamic looks like. And we're focusing a little bit more right now on those blood relatives, those that you are actually related to in some way, shape, or form. As I've gotten older and I've met more people, talked to more people, they have given me glimpses into what their upbringing looks like, the things that they have had to endure, things that they've had to encounter, things that they've had to overcome. And a lot of that centers around the actions or reactions of family members, relatives. And the sense of a number of different things that come into play when you're describing the dynamic with these individuals. And it blows my mind because I think about what I grew up with. I think about the ones that I do hold very close, that I am related to. The size of my family is it's, I mean, we're not the Waltons, make no mistake about it. But I do have a lot of relatives all over the continental United States. I got relatives in Florida, Arkansas, Minnesota, Texas, um, Kansas. I've they're all over the place. Now here more locally, it's my dad and me. My aunt, my mom's sister, lives about 20 minutes away from here, so she's close. My cousin, her daughter, um, lives very close to her. So like there are people in my family dynamic that is close, and like I said, I've got other ones that are all over the fucking place. I think about what my relationships are with these folks. You know, some I'm closer to than others. Just that's just how it is. You know, we've all got our own thing going on. We've all got our lives to lead, and you know, our journeys have taken us to different parts of the country. You know, that's just how it happens. Then there's the dynamic of the family relatives who use their position in life as a tool. I think about the people who use their position in life to instill their beliefs into other people. And if you don't subscribe to that, well, then you're considered the black sheep, or you are not treated with the same amount of respect that number one you deserve, and number two that is bestowed upon other people within the family dynamic that at the end of the day doesn't really deserve to have that kind of attention, doesn't deserve to have that kind of adulation. Something came across my radar a couple of weeks ago, and I stored it in my file O show topics, and I've looked at this a couple of times in recent weeks. Is this the week I'm going to tackle this? And I realized that something like this, I had to be in a very specific frame of mind. Well, what you know it, as luck would have it, today is that day. I want to read this to you, and I want to explain why it resonated with me and why I'm fixing to piss a lot of people off. People that I know and people that I don't. People that are going to tune into this out of curiosity because of the way it's going to be titled. And, you know, if I garner any kind of negative feedback, it's because I've triggered them. Make no mistake, that's why it is. I've triggered them because I am calling them out without specifically calling them out. I don't need to do that. I don't need to single anybody out by name. Just the fact that I know that you are triggered to your core is all the validation that I need. And again, I don't seek these things out. These are things that get brought to me with a corresponding message. Thought you could talk about this on the show. Thought this would be a good show topic. I'm dealing with something like this. What is your take? I got takes all day long. Problem is people don't like listening to it. Why? Because something that I say triggers something in them. And it's unfortunate, but that's life. That happens. It says here, just because someone is family doesn't mean you have to tolerate lies, chaos, drama, manipulation, and disrespect. Let me read that to you again. I'll go a little slower because I really want this to sink in, so it's in the forefront of your mind when I start to embark on the follow up to this. Just because someone is family doesn't mean you have to tolerate lies, chaos, drama, manipulation, and disrespect. The disrespect part for me is what brought this to the forefront. That is the one word. Well, there's two words here that jumped out at me when reading this. And I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be something. Family and disrespect were the two words that jumped out. The other ones that were listed here, the lies, chaos, drama, manipulation, followed suit very closely. But make no mistake, the two key words here were drama, or I'm sorry, family and disrespect. Because for some reason, just because people are related to you, they have it in their mind that is an open door policy to talk to you, to treat you any way they see fit, and we're just supposed to sit here and take it because, well, we're family. They think it's okay that they can manipulate the situation to transfer some of the heat off them onto you, and you're just supposed to take it because you're family. You're supposed to be okay with the fact that people can tell bold-faced lies about you to other members of the family, and you're just supposed to be understanding and take it. Why? Because you're family. People will try to instill their beliefs, their thoughts, their opinions on you, and you're supposed to accept it and utilize that as a blueprint to how you live your life. Why? Because you're family. I got news for you, Jack. Just because you're family don't make you right. Just because you're family don't make you not an asshole. Just because your family doesn't give you an open door policy to use other members of the family as a fucking doormat. Now, I'll be honest. I know this is going to get polarizing. But there is somebody very important in my life. And based on things that I have seen, based on things that I have heard, based on things that I have read, based on things that we have talked about, I have absolute zero problem, without question, without hesitation, and without fail. I can sit here and I have said this to their face or looked at them right in the eyes and said, I do not respect your family at all. Now, what's significant about that statement, if you know me on any level, you know that I don't have to like a person to respect them. You could be the biggest douche in the world, but if there is something that you're doing where I can get behind or I have a degree of respect, I will acknowledge that and I will conduct myself accordingly. Not because I like the individual, but because there is a level of respect attached to that individual. And that's as far as it'll go. But if I don't like you and I have zero respect for you, in my world, you don't stand a fucking chance. You sure shit are not going to get anything, any part of me that means anything because you don't deserve it. Because of how you treat quote unquote family and why you justify that in your fucked up heads. I have a real problem with this. Real problem with this. I have a problem with this because I look at the family dynamic differently than most of you do. Why? Because my family's been cut in half. And when your family is cut in half, your core family is cut in half. You look at shit differently. You feel shit differently. You look at other people's situations and you just sit there and shake your head and you wonder, what is it going to take for you to pull your head out of your ass and realize what you have right in front of you before it's too late? And by too late, I mean because they're dead. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that a little rough for you? Little too raw? If you are somebody who has experienced this, it's not. You get it. But if you haven't, number one, you're very fortunate. But number two, you're living in fantasy land. If you believe you've got all the time in the world, you do not. It may seem like it's taken forever, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a blip on the radar. I think about people that I have known over the course of my life, previously and in the here and now, and I think of what wonderful people they are. One specifically, and that's kind of why I'm so bothered by all this, because if I can be honest with you, this person is somebody who really means a lot. And I've got so much feelings and emotions wrapped up in this individual. I mean, the level of respect and admiration and love and like all of that for this person, um, it's off the charts. And to see how they're treated by relatives, and the fact that those relatives justify this behavior because, well, you have to accept this because we're family, you can go fuck yourself. Just because we may have the same kind of blood running through our veins, don't mean that gives you an open invitation to treat me or you or anybody else like absolute dog shit. Who do you think you are? I'm going to tell you who you are. You're a bitch to the core. And who the fuck told you that your opinion was of such value that it disqualifies another individual's will to live the life that they want and deserve? To find their path of happiness, of fulfillment, of feeling worthy, of feeling accepted, of being heard, being understood. Who the fuck do you think you are that you have that kind of control over another human? Let me throw out some examples for you. Let's say you are embarking on a significant life change. We'll do it this way because I don't want anybody to feel like I'm singling them out. Let's do it this way. Let's say you are about to embark on a career change. You've been doing this particular thing for a considerable amount of time. It pays a decent salary. It gives you some benefits. It's on the surface, it looks like a pretty good gig, right? But for you, it's not good. There's one or more aspects of it that has you thinking that you need to make a change in order for you to have some degree of internal peace, happiness, fulfillment. And you let these, and you make the declaration, I am going to change career paths. I am leaving this particular industry, this particular job, and I'm going to try doing this because I feel like this new path is where I'm supposed to be. Now, your relatives are going to be there to, now, theoretically, they should be there to be your cheerleaders. Whether they agree with it or not is none of their fucking business unless it causes you or somebody else harm, physically, emotionally, mentally. But if it doesn't do any of that, it does not matter whether they think you're making a mistake or not, because by and large, you're an adult. And as an adult, you have that privilege of changing your mind or betting on yourself. But because on the surface, they don't understand everything that goes on with your current situation, they're going to be the first ones to voice some degree of challenge, make you question yourself, make you doubt yourself, or just plain out tell you, you should not do this. You can't do this. If you do this, this is what's going to happen. If you do this, that's going to happen. You don't know that. You don't know that. We could sit here and play doomsday all day long and think about every possible thing that could go wrong. That can happen with any aspect of life. Nothing is ever going to go seamlessly. Nothing that is worth having, the happiness that we all achieve or that we all seek, I guess I should say, and ultimately achieve, like that, a lot of times you get contention because it is a contrast to what other people feel like you need to be doing with your life. They don't run your life. They don't live, they don't walk in your shoes. They don't see shit through your eyes, and they sure as fuck don't feel with your heart. So who are they to be telling you that what you're doing or the happiness that you're seeking is wrong? Because at the end of the day, one of two things. It's because of one of two things. One, you are reminding them of something that they are not. They may be miserable in their lives. They may be miserable with their choices in life, but they have condemned themselves to a life of mediocrity. This is their lot in life. They have submitted to it, and this is just the way it is because, well, that's what family said. If you want to live a life of mediocrity, that is your prerogative. If you want to put more stock into why people, your family, believe that you shouldn't do something than the desire to do it, then you have condemned yourself. You have condemned yourself to mediocrity. And if you're cool with that, that's on you, man. I refuse. I refuse to accept mediocrity. I won't do it. I tried every possible way to incorporate what other people's thoughts, views, and opinions are in relation to what I'm doing, along with what I feel in my soul I should be doing. I've tried to find that balance, to embark on the different things that I want to achieve, my goals, my dreams, my aspirations. Regardless if they were on board with it or not, I tried to find a way to make sure that they were still a part of what I'm doing. But when their influence, their presence, their mere presence causes you challenges, roadblocks, feelings of anxiety, dread, you got to make a decision here, man. Either you abandon the life that you want or you tell these people to go fuck themselves until they can pull their head out of their asses and actually act like an adult. Somebody that deserves or has earned a spot at your table within your inner circle. They feel like they automatically get a bye to that spot because, well, they're family. They don't work with me, Jack. You earn your shit with me. Now, I'm not sitting here and trying to, and I know it comes off. I know how this comes off because I can hear myself say it. Like, I know this comes off like I have put myself on a pedestal above people, and like I should be somebody that um, should be sought after or respected because I'm doing this, that, or the other thing. No, I don't expect that because of those reasons. You earn your spot with me because that's how much self-respect I have for myself, and I'll be goddamned if I'm going to let anybody compromise that ever again. I don't give a fuck who it is, because even though I've got members of my family that I do care about, relatives that I do care about, that I do respect, that I do love, and I do want their feedback. There are other ones that they haven't heard from me in years. Why? Because they have demonstrated to be something that I want no part of. Severed that tie. Took a minute, but I'm here to tell you the feeling of liberation and that just that hint of heaviness that's immediately erased makes it all worthwhile. Does that make me an asshole? Yep, 100%. And I am the villain in the story. Uh, Here's the thing. I ain't going to lose sleep over it. Here's the thing. It ain't going to make a fuck out of me one way or the other because I'm continuing moving forward. I am trending in the right direction. I am doing what I need to do to maintain my internal peace. Relatives who automatically assume that because they are related to you, they get that automatic seat at the table within your inner circle. They don't live in reality. Now, some people's lives, like this is how it is, but it doesn't have to be. Because at the end of the day, like I started to say earlier, people that conduct themselves in this way, they do this because you're reminding them of shit that they're not. And the other part of that is um they look at their lives and they can see where they have conceded to mediocrity, and they're trying to ride your coattails. And if you're not doing something that they feel like you need to be doing, they're going to make that known, and they're going to make shit increasingly difficult. Then you get other members, other family dynamics where there's more gossip going on about everybody else's lives and everybody else's choices. Uh, it looks like a high school fucking football locker room. Like, what are we doing? What are you doing? Get over yourselves. Just because it didn't work for you, don't mean it ain't going to work for somebody else. And instead of pissing and moaning and trying to do everything you can to drag these people down, maybe, I don't know, encourage them. Live vicariously through them. And I realize what a difficult pill to swallow that can be because, well, again, they're showing you what you could have been, or they're doing things that you could have done, but you didn't because of your decisions. Now, with that being said, there's going to be people like, nope, I wasn't able to live my life because of this person, because of that thing, and because of this scenario. Okay, I understand these things threw obstacles in your way, but they were also tests. They were tests to test your resolve, to test your determination. How much of your goals and dreams and the life that you wanted to live, what was it worth to you? Was it worth going through the storm? Most people elect not to because they can't handle it. They're afraid. Fear is another funny thing, man. It can be your greatest motivator or the one thing that takes you right to the bottom of the fucking ocean faster than the Titanic. It's unfortunate because I've seen people be treated like utter shit and they're expected to take it because the people who are dishing out on them are their moms, are their dads, are their brothers, their sisters, aunts, uncles, grandparents. It doesn't matter. Some dynamic, some way or another, these are relatives that because they're related, they feel like they just have this open policy to treat you any way they see fit, and you're just supposed to be okay with it. That ain't family. It's just a bunch of people that you just happen to be related to, unfortunately. Now, on the flip side of that, people's family dynamics are made up of people that they chose to be quote unquote family for the right reasons, shared dreams, shared philosophies, shared goals. These aren't people who are going to do anything and everything to cause more drama, to meddle their nose into your business and express their displeasure over your choices or what you're doing to other members of said family. Go get fucked. Because what happens is and you don't realize it because there are those rare exceptions where people are ultimately going to roll the dice on themselves in spite of all of the family bullshit that comes with it. They're just going to do it. And with every boneheaded decision that you make, every assholish thing that you say, you are driving that wedge deeper and wider with that individual to the point to where they are ultimately going to check out. They are going to start seeing the fruits of their labor. They're going to start seeing little glimpses of success. And that's all the motivation that they're going to need to really put the pedal to the metal, get the rubber on the road, and make this shit happen. Meanwhile, they're leaving you in the rear view. And the more bullshit you bring to the surface, the wider that divide gets, man. You did that. You're doing that. Now, I'm not saying that these people don't have some degree of love and respect for you. Let me back that up. I'm not saying that people of that family dynamic don't love you because they may. There may be feelings of love for you. They just don't respect you. If there's no respect, man, there ain't nothing to it. There's no substance. It's under false pretenses. And eventually that balloon pops. And that bitch will come down faster than the Hindenburg. Nobody wants to talk about this until it's too late. But it drives me crazy. Drives me nuts to be on the sidelines of some of these people and to see how they're treated, how they're talked to. When at the end of the day, I feel like if roles were reversed and they were going to do something and they actually had the balls to do it, they would just do it regardless of what you thought. So why is it okay for them to embark in that? But if you wanted to, it's a fucking problem. And it's the source of a lot of shit talking, a lot of drama, which causes chaos, and it's just upheaval in people's lives. Why? For what? What are we doing? What are we doing? So you need to really sit there and evaluate what the word family means to you. You need to sit there and evaluate How important is your life, your happiness, your goals, the life that you want? Is it worth bucking the system? Is it worth dealing with some unnecessary drama that you know is going to come your way? Because again, these people can't keep your name out of their mouths. They can't keep your path out of their bullshit. You got to make a decision. How important is your happiness? Because if you're not getting the kind of support from your relatives, as it's described as family, then I would suggest you may want to consider choosing your own family, the people that you do care about, the people that do respect you, the people that do have your back, for no other reason than to be your support, to help push you towards your goals, because they genuinely like you and they genuinely want you to succeed. Just because you may be blood don't make you right. Just because you may be blood, it doesn't give you a pass to treat other people within that dynamic like shit. It makes you a special breed of fuckhead. Straight up. So maybe take some shit into consideration when you start uh, throwing that word out as loosely as people do. If I consider you family, this is just me talking. If I consider you family, if you are part of of my inner circle, you are there for a reason. Not because you have to be there, not because you've shoehorned yourself into it, but because I have chosen you. If I have not chosen you, you are not at that proverbial table. You may be in one of the outer rings if you are in it at all. And again, it's not because I've put myself up on some pedestal. I don't think I'm anybody special or anything like that. This is just how I protect my internal peace, because that's what's important to me. And it's unfortunate that people don't recognize that, but that's a them problem, not a me problem. And I am not easy to get along with. I'm not easy to live with. I'm not easy to love. I am not an easy individual. I'm just not. But the one thing that I am is unapologetic in my approach with life now. Because I have full understanding of how precious life is. And I choose to spend whatever time I've got left here with the people that have my back for the right reasons. And they are the ones that have a seat at the proverbial table. With that, we're going to start winding this episode down. I want to make mention of it one more time. We've been talking about this on the other shows here, but I do want to make mention that starting on February the 14th, there's going to be a new spring lineup of merchandise coming to the PFC online store. Here you see a graphic that advertises some of the new baseball jerseys and hats that don the logos and names of the various shows on our network. This is part of the spring lineup, and it's actually going to get its own sub store. So starting February the 14th, which is Valentine's Day, you will be able to go to pfcspring.printify.me for all spring related new merchandise that's coming to the PFC online store. Quite a few items that are going to drop there. We're very much looking forward to that. Um, I was excited about the holiday store that was launched back in November, but there's something about springtime. We're trying to get out of the winter blues, and we need to. Hopefully, the weather is going to start turning around, getting a little bit warmer as we embark into the next season here. Um, but yeah, go ahead and check that out. There's going to be a lot of cool merchandise on there, and then check out the main store, pfcstore.printify.me. If you have any questions, comments, show topic ideas, anything of the sort, hit me up over on the Clouse to the Heart or PFC Entertainment Network Facebook pages, Clouse to the Heart at gmail.com or pfcnetwork.net. With that, go out, be awesome to yourselves and to each other. We'll see you next week right here on the Clouse to the Heart podcast, the flagship show of the PFC Entertainment Network.